Okay, good morning. Now, if you're just there, a couple of people just arriving, settling in, don't rush. I just wanted a little today, as I was creating our class, um, I guess this spring, the sense of spring, and really want to embrace that, sort of getting rid of the old and sort of, I don't know, breathing into some of the darker corners and things that hit sort of the thick areas. Um, and so this class has a little bit more focus on the legs. Of course, hips will be involved and the glutes, but a little bit more of the legs. And I'll tell you because I just really the visual came of what is you really have this sense our legs are what is really reaching down to the core of the earth. And I thought, well, as we start waking up, why don't we wake up from the ground up? Just like a flower bursts through the ground, let's just let our legs wake up. And I hope to continue the rest of the month of waking everything up. And maybe by the end, we'll feel, I don't know, in bloom. So having said that, let's open on our backs. In supine Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. If this is not something you enjoy or you want to prop, you do that. You can just lie down in Savasana. The main thing is to be on our backs here. So just gently come down, settling the hips comfortably, and just don't have the heels too close to the groin. It's too intense to start. And then just drop the upper back and the back of the head down, adjusting where you need to. Bringing the feet closer or farther away. And let's just bring our hands just down to the lower belly between the hip points, closing the eyes, just settling the body for a moment. Just fostering this notion of embodiment or wholeness. So if we've been thinking a lot, or driven by the cranial brain, that monkey brain, let's just sort of drop down and enjoy the wholeness. So all the other ways that we communicate, not only outward, within, all these pathways. You may just start to notice something. Maybe it's a physical sensation or the rise and fall of the breath, which will expand and contract the ribs. All these things are kind of cool. Just something may call you to it. Maybe it's the backs of the arms on the mat. It's just allow whatever it is to be. And observe. So let's take an inhalation, again, at your own pace and depth. But upon releasing it, make that audible ha sound. So take a breath in through the nose. Close your mouth. Sit with that pause for a moment. Well, let's just draw awareness to the eyes and just note that they're already sort of settled in to the pockets, downcast. So we're going to open the lids, slowly allow the light to come in without focusing. I'll just take the hands now from the belly and bring them down to the mat. You can keep them palms down for the moment and slowly find the mat with both of the feet. Just coming into constructive rest, allowing the lower back now to release if it hasn't already. I kind of hoped it had, but good. Now bring the knees above the hips. Let the calves meet the hamstrings. And then slowly open the knees once again, finding the big toes touching. Okay. Something, don't overpoint the feet. It's sort of a very soft ankle, open in the front of the shins and through the front of the ankles. And now take the hands from the mat, slide them to the inside of those legs. So you may not be able to reach very well. So just adapt for where you can reach. The idea is the arms going inside, putting some pressure on the inside of those legs, in your knee or something. Again, the focus is on the hips here and the groins, just gently opening it. Let's visit the collarbones and just spread them out so you feel the upper back meet the mat a little more. Good. Now, Bring those knees in, allow the lower back to sink into the mat. You'll notice you'll be able to get much more leverage. That's fine. Bring the hands now to the outside and just cup below the knees. And just sort of, or maybe inside, whatever kind of feels good. What you're trying to do is sort of spread the knees towards like the outside of your ears, just feeling the groins rock side to side, just tiny little movements, lower, release the lower back, press it. Good. And then let go of that tension. Put the left foot back down on the mat and bring the hands around the right shin just below the knee. Slowly draw this right. Oh, let's release the lower back. It's going to be harder. You won't get this right leg very far, okay? Just have this traction of the arms around the leg for a moment. And then drop the lower back in. Bring the nose towards that right knee. Once you get up there, ankle becomes strong in the right leg, so the toes of the right foot look to the ceiling. One hand and then the other can reach down either to the calf, the ankle, or the foot on each side. So you're just cradling this right foot. Kind of press into the palms as the palms are pulling in and just move to feel that wonderful release from the sides of the neck across the top of the shoulders if you can. If you don't, it might be very subtle, but just wait to see if you can find it for yourself. Sit up here. So the upper back is curled, so doming, and the shoulder blades are reaching away from the spine, and the front belly is softened in. The chin is kind of moving down. Just wait here for a moment. And then we're going to release the grip of where it was, slowly replace the upper back, and take this right leg to look to the ceiling. You might probably going to want to keep a slight bend in that right leg because it's a bit intense otherwise, but let's get those leg bones stacked, feel really good and strong through this right leg. Okay, and just release once again, if it isn't already, the lower back from the mat. So you have the spines in its natural curves, and just without holding or binding or bring, we used to, when we were together, put the rope around our feet, but just start to flex the ankle, feel the Achilles wake up and bring this right leg sort of towards the top of your mat, towards the floor. But notice where the release is, where the ego is, because if you want to feel you're doing these supine splits, you're going to drop your lower back and feel, whoa, look at that. Just wait for this subtle energy that starts moving back and forth along the back of the leg, and play with your alignment by keeping that leg nice, straight, and stacked. And then slowly start to turn the whole leg and the hip itself, asking for a release of those muscles around the top of the femur. Turning the leg so that the toes of your right foot now look to left corner of your room, and then just start to pass it like over your navel, but it's not going to go very far. Try to keep both sides of your hips on the mat. It's very subtle and it's not very nice. So wait for that electrical current to run. So that's your IT band, and just wait for it. Don't do it. It's not fascinating in a huge movement, but it's quite deep. And then come back out of that. Okay, let go of the tension in the ankle, so the foot just comes down, knee bends. Left leg now reaches towards the front of your space. Really strong ankle, like you're standing on that left leg. Really open the back of the left knee in towards the floor. Both hands around the right shin, and come up now. Nose towards the knee. Don't worry if you don't get there. Take your left hand from your right leg and just smooth it down your left leg. So opening up where the leg enters into the hip. That leg crease, just smooth the energy down the leg there. That's it. And then release back down. Bring the left leg up and just find your mat. Good. Now, same with the left. Ankle softens, calf comes to hamstrings, hands come around, elbows are going to bend. We're going to just bring that knee in towards our armpit. Keep the lower back strong and away from the mat. Bring the nose, flex the ankle, stretch the hands down the leg. So wherever they reach, you know, you can cradle both sides of the calf, the ankle, press in or push that foot towards the front of your space. The hands kind of pulling away, give that lovely, healthy traction. Note the upper back. Where do you feel it? Can you really draw the side ribs down towards the hips? All these interesting things. That's it. Slowly release. Come back to the back of the head. Take this left leg straight up, and now ankle is strong. The back of the leg is long. The Achilles is waking up on this side. Toes look towards. Lower back again. Find the release. If you're not sure of it, you can always poke your hands so that you can. We all have a different curve there, but you should feel that space there. And then start to bring that left leg in towards the floor above, waiting for the back of the leg to release. It's holding. That's it. Nice. Try to keep the leg from drifting left or right. Try to keep it right. Have this sense that this femur, this whole, the biggest bone in your body, is anchored into the center of your hip, which it's just ball joint. Okay, and now with that strong flex at the ankle and the toe, start to turn the whole leg. If you want to do it, kind of manipulate it, bring the hands to your thighs and sort of turn it in, and then cross body it, maybe sort of drifting towards your navel center. And wait for it. You can always drop your right leg in. You can see all these little variations that start to, maybe your body tells you that's what feels really good. Generally, you can have your right leg straight for that matter, for the hip flexor on the right side. And then bring it back, feel the release. Let the ankle soften again, calf to hamstring, right leg extends really strongly, and take this time to fire up your quads, so muscles in the front of your thigh muscles. Bring your hands around, lower back, bring your nose towards the knees, shoulder caps into the body, press the lower back into the mat, and really send that strong foot forward. That's it. Lower your back, put the foot down, bring that right foot back in so you're in constructive rest. And then both legs come in together, Apanasana, lower back sinks into the mat, arms come wherever you want, just cradle rock side to side, maybe circles with the knees, figure eights. Start to allow yourself to be creative, and you don't have to follow me. This is your practice. Your body knows better than I do anyway, that's for sure. And then we'll just, if you like those stronger roll-ups, start doing that. You know, you roll up, keeping the legs equidistant, so calves from hamstrings, or you're just going to come to your right side and support yourself up and get into a seated position, which may involve blocking, putting something beneath your bottom, so it just alleviates some tightness in the hips. Bring the hands to the kneecaps for a moment, and there'll be some softness for most of us in the eyes of the elbows. Use a moment to really connect with the lines. Just feel the ears over the shoulders, the length in the side body through the waist, climbing out of the bowl of the pelvis. Put a little pressure inwards on the knees and use that leverage to really draw the upper chest up. Try not to throw the head back. Keep it in line with the rest of the spine and the gentle curve of the cervical section, the topmost. And really just have this sense of developing an opening in the upper chest, which at this time of year, sometimes when things get us down, you don't realize you end up collapsing so much and causing tightness. And then to do this is quite challenging. It's also kind of being vulnerable. You're opening this heart up and yet building trust. And then slowly release that. Take a moment in your neutral spot, and then we're going to drop into the back side of it. So here the chin will come down to the chest. We really drop the spine, the belly into the spine. Feel that C shape that we've made. Breathe into the upper back, or maybe rock side to side, whatever feels kind of good. Think of cat cow. We will be doing a couple of those. Good. And then come back up, and now we're going to have this sense. Take the arms. Instead of having this idea that they're coming from the shoulder, which tends to make us do this, just really focus on down here in your posture, in your hips. And then as we start to move the hands, keep them bent. This helps me from overreaching in the shoulders. Just kind of feel like you're zipping up the side body, and the hands just follow the energy lines, which they are doing, and they're going to stack right above. Think of Urdhva Hastasana hands. The gaze does not follow the arms. The palms face one another, and the arms are shoulder width apart. Take a moment to feel this stretch from the ground through the fingers, the thumb. And then we're just going to slowly take a fluid twist to the right, so the arms will come to that goalpost shape over to the right. Won't go far. Inhaling back to center. Stretch the fingers, open the arms and the eyes and the elbows. Exhale to the other side. Again, not far. Inhale to center. This time, left hand comes to the right knee and the right hand comes down, just taps. Lift the chest. Inhale up to center, let go of that space. Go to the other side, right palm to left knee, left hand to the ground, chest lies. Inhale. Okay. This time, arms face away from one another. We're bringing them down behind us with the fingers facing away. You may be able to tent the hands, just find the floor if you can. As bring the arms as close together behind you as you can, like you mirror the spine. And then reach down through the arms while we take the chest up. So that pressure down to the core of the earth will allow for the opening of the chest, which will deepen as we take our inhalations. Again, try not to send the gaze up towards the ceiling. Keep the gaze down and soft, so you have big full eyelids, and then release that. And finally, taking the arms now out to the side, float them up parallel to the floor, bring them forward parallel to the floor, open palms, and reach them down where you can kind of keep a nice strong upper chest, so we're not collapsing. And then just inch them forward, inch them to a point where you feel the lower back starting to send us our messages. And that's usually a spot we can find a full palm to palm, palm to ground, spread fingers. Maybe I'm going to inch mine a little farther, and then we're going to allow the ears to come down, creating this long kind of C shape, this soft doming of the spine. Reach to the ground through the palms, and to the ground through the sitting bones beneath the hips. That's it. And then come up, slide the hands back, and find your way into a table. So knees below hips, hands below shoulders. We'll do a couple of cat-cows. So inhaling, reach the crown and the tailbone up, but keeping engaged in the core. Exhale, press the top of the feet and the hands down into the ground and scoop the belly and dome the spine. And really notice how the shoulder blades move away from the spine beneath the skin. Inhale, the shoulder blades are coming towards the spine, but you feel intact at your navel. Don't feel all loosey-goosey below. And push the ground away, create that C shape. One more of those. Inhaling. Broad upper chest, pull those hands to the knees, knees to the hands, creating that traction that makes the stronger. And back up. Come back to neutral, turning both sets of toes under, getting long under toes. Lift both knees from the mat and plug the belly in. Try to keep the spine strong. Feel the arms securely rooted in the shoulders, the joints themselves. Feel long through the Achilles. Just float a bit there. And then knees come down, toes stay as they are. Push the hips back towards the heels. Let the hands, it's usually about one length forward, but just straighten your arms forward. Look at the space between the thumbs and just wait for the under toes to release the tension, the arches, the ankles, and the hips. The belly starts to come down, and maybe we'll just offer the forehead towards the ground. It's a lovely space here. And then pop the shoulders up, bring the hands back to where they were, flip those feet, getting a nice counter pose, and take the right leg up, bending it so the sole of the right foot looks to the ceiling. It's heavy. Now, I don't usually recommend it, but try it. So you can try to do it proprioceptively, knowing, but otherwise look down your pose, and I bet you'll kind of see the inside of your big toe, but you won't see the inside of your heel because we're collapsing. So see, just start to pull that heel in. You'll feel the resistance of the shin, not like it, in the front of the ankle. Press the top of that foot down and keep that strong. Pull the belly in and just pulse this leg up. Doesn't matter how many you breathe. You don't have to breathe with the pulses. You pulse while breathing. Just they're tiny micro movements. Just bringing energy and heat to this area that actually we get a lot of us sit a little bit too much, and we get this frozen bottom syndrome. It gets sort of lost all its energy and focus, and it becomes sort of a dark space in the body. Okay, stop. And we're gonna, the best way I can describe this is start to draw, however big or small you'd like, circles with your right kneecap. So it's going to kind of go out to the side like you're peeing a fire hydrant, down to the floor. Do it slowly. Anything fast means you're not connected. So do it slowly, maybe smaller movements, whatever the hips will allow. Try to keep stillness in the left side of the body though. And just feel what you're doing on the right side, keeping the calf and the hamstring equidistant so they don't fly around. Right? And then switch directions. Big, small, whatever works. Getting some nice, rich, supple movement here for the hips, muscles here, the ligaments. That's it. And then bringing it back to where we started. And now on an exhale, the nose and the kneecap are going to want to find one another beneath us. So we scoop the belly, open the back of the neck to the front of your space, and bring that knee to the nose. Press the ground away through those 3 points, the hands and the foot. Bring it back out and take this right leg out to the side and plant it on the mat. If you can, straight out from the hip. If that is feeling way too intense, you just need to take the right leg back a little bit, but it's still, accommodate. Maybe a slight softening in the right leg will feel better. Toes of the left foot curl under now. And lift the sitting bone. So you're kind of sticking your bottom up in the air, keeping a nice strong curve in your lower back. And then we've done it before. Start to drift the left hip towards your heel. Keep rooted through your right foot. Feel the length down the inside of the right leg. That's primary focus. Getting a lot of work for the bones in the right foot. And there's all sorts of variations. So if your body wanted to drop and you feel, forearms to the mat feel great, just make sure you can swallow comfortably and it's still feeling good. And then lift back up. Take this right leg, bend it a little bit so you can bring it straight out. Release the left foot, flex the right foot, and bring it all the way over to the other side. Okay, and now peer over to the inside ankle of the right foot. Pull the right side of your body from sinking to the floor. Pull it up, engage it. Open up the side body, maybe more at the waist. Send the right heel farther towards the floor. Embrace the fullness of this. There's all sorts of areas to be drawn to, and it's quite playful. Love it. It opens the Achilles. Just play around, maybe micro movements. Yeah, that's it. And then soften the knee. Come back. Get out of the wrists for a moment. Bring the forearms down to the mat. Just gentle with the neck. You can also do sort of a gentle counter pose here, but I think that's a little bit strong. So just come. There's no rush. Take the time to really sort of digest what we're doing. I find the richness really deepens when we take the time to like soak up in between. We don't want to rush through and then we find out we've pulled something. Come up. Hands to knees or shoulders over the hands. Take the left leg up, flex the ankle, pull the belly in to support. This is a heavy leg here. So just this looks super easy, but it isn't. The longer you stay there. So let's just do your pulses. Oh, I should have mentioned again, pull that right heel in. If it's starting to fall out, try to keep nice traction to the top of the right foot all the way along the shin, because that, if you're feeling it in your right kneecap, it's a sure sign you have let go of connecting with a lot of part of your posture, which is the top of the foot, creating softness and open in the right ankle. Just lots of things. Go down there, play around. There's a lot going on. Okay, stillness, and begin your circles like you did before. Forward, trying to keep stillness in your right hip. Keep strong in your belly, so you don't want to feel strain in your lower back. That's a sign you lost your strength in the core at the front of your body. And that's not what we're going for. So we need to stay present and moving all sorts of things that are actually quite a challenge. Feel the ears are actually down in your hips. Feel the sense of what's going on down there. Maybe mine's greebly bits down there on this side. It's going click. Okay, change directions. That's it. Yeah. We got a little bit. I'm a little problematic on this side today. Okay. Bring it back up to its starting spot with a strong ankle, strong open bottom of the foot. And then we're going to go knee to nose. Push the ground away. Squeeze that belly up. Feel what it's like when the shoulder blades slide away from the spine. Feel the kidneys buoyant. And then bring it back out and over to the side and plant it down. Take a moment to lift the hips until you feel some feedback on the inside of that left leg. Turn the toes under of your right foot. And slowly drift your weight back, keeping your left foot glued to the mat wherever you placed it. Oh, see how, for me, very interesting. I've got not only the inside of my leg, but my left side going, the outside of my left hip is giving me, it would like to have a conference with me. So on this side, interesting. That doesn't usually happen for me on this. I did fall hiking the other day, so it might be something to do with that. Again, softening to the forearms might feel good. If if your wrists are tender, this might be something that feels better, or stretching the arms out. And just before leaving, can we just notice the left hip and sort of actively draw it behind us, and you'll feel, holy heckaroni, because the depth will increase as we keep actively drawing this left hip side of the body towards the back of our space. If you let it float forward, it'll feel great. But it's our release valve. Okay, up, and we're going to do the side bend. Release that right foot, bring the left leg up, over. Now this, I've got the wall in front of me here. I'm just going to shift. So this left leg is straight, okay? The toes are in. The stronger you send the energy through the center of that left heel, the deeper it's going to be. You're going to keep your body on the same plane and just start to peer into the inside of that left ankle. Again, pull up the left side of the body, in, away from the ground. Send that left heel farther back. How does it feel? Maybe micro movements. Okay. Bring the gaze back, bring the leg back. Find the softening of the forearms down. This is also, like I always say, where the magic happens in your own practice. You may have gone in, I mean, I have created this practice, but say you thought you might do leg work, but then suddenly you're in this space and some other movement calls you. Okay, stretch the arms, and we're going to go to plank. So foundation through the palms, shoulders over the wrists, toes under. The heels are heavy. Just pedal it out. Bring in some movement and then some stillness when you feel engaged, sort of buoyant in the front of the body. So if you feel saggy, or if you're getting called and your observation and awareness keeps going to the back of your body, it's a sign that your front body isn't doing the help I think that it should be. It should jump on the bus and support the back body, support in the round. Okay, let's bring our knees a little bit towards the floor, tug the belly even more away from your waistband, and send those hips up and back. We're going into a half downward dog here, just stretching out the front body, and then bringing the legs into the mix as we straighten them, maybe lengthen the posture or shorten the posture. You know, and really, I'd hesitate trying to get my heels on the mat, because unless you're incredibly open and disciplined about it, often it means I think your downward dog will be a little bit too short, and you'll find your planks very hard, and you'll just get overdoing in your shoulder work. So just find something that works where you do feel nice and rooted through the heels. Okay, now we're in downward dog. We're going to go, we've done this before. Come back to plank. Feel the body stretch through to the third eye. Exhale the knees, plug the belly in to counteract the swoop, and send the energy back towards the heels, stretching out the bottom of our feet. Inhale to plank. Fire up the thighs, plug the belly in, and feel that real hinge and release over the legs. Downward dog into that full inversion. Inhale to plank. Exhale the knees down, send the energy back, stretch it out, and one more of those cycles. Come back to plank, shoulder caps into the body, plug the belly up, reach up and back. Just enjoy that flow. Find downward dog. Okay, and let's walk our feet as little tiny footprints, or step, 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 until your feet are hip distance apart. Your hips are tall, your legs are slightly bent, and your spine can really just drape out of the tipped bowl. Let the arms soften and have the palms facing up here. It's very different. You feel how the palms facing up is sort of this offering of cradling the head. It's far more restorative than when you flip your palms, using them as a base of your posture. Okay, let's just slowly straighten the legs, bring the crown forward and up to half stand, bring the arms by the side and feel that connection. Fingertips through the crown, strong thighs lifted up. Bend at the knees, coming to this modified Utkatasana with the arms at shoulder height. Here, good. Now, lift the toes in Utkatasana, plug the belly in. Send the hips a little farther back, release the toes back down, bring the palms together, okay, and soften them into the heart. This will just take some of the work out of the shoulders. That's it. And now, as it's legs, what are we going to do? We're going to double balance here. So this just might mean idea of taking the weight out of the heels, but maybe keeping them touching, or you're going to start to lift them right up, get this crazy ankle work, this balance, this thunderbolt shape. Okay with the work, the heat, the depth, maybe drop it a little bit more, maybe lift the heels up a little bit more. Stay with me if you can, otherwise find the mat, you know what to do. We're going to be coming to standing after this. If you need to now, do it. Okay, slowly seek the mat with both heels full-footed. Go down, press it down, press the legs, whoa. And send the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, taking them down by the side, finding equal standing here. And just, I don't know, to feel the doo-doom, doo-doom, doo-doom. Radiate. We all have our own energy bodies too. And good. Just need a sip of water. Okay. Let's bring the feet together. We'll be at the top of the mat, hands at the heart. Inhaling, lifting the chest, offering the arms up in a sort of a V. Exhale, bring them together and unzip right down, opening the back of the neck, taking a soft forward fold. Let the crown down. Inhale, come straightening the legs, bring the hands to wherever you need to get the length through the spine. See how long that breath is. Exhale, plant the hands, shift your weight and take your left leg back. You'll learn how long to take it. Let's soften the left knee a little bit. That means bend it a bit. Okay. Start to come into that arrow lunge, bringing the hands to the heart, keeping a slight bend in that left leg. And just let's address the shoulders. If they feel kind of droopy towards that right foot, towards the front of your mat, lift them up a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger. Okay. We're going to open the arms to shoulder height and palms will face the ceiling as we straighten that right leg. So arms up and out, legs straighten and balance. Both legs are straight. And let's just tweak this right heel. Really help if you feel this right heel pressing down into the ground and turning in, and it'll be like, hello, stability. Okay, bending the right leg, bring the knee over the right ankle. The arms can come up, mirroring the length and the side of our body. And this modified, it's a high lunge. Good. Bring the palms together and down to the heart. And we're going to flutter so you can stay here or go all the way to some version of warrior 3. Breathing wherever you are. Feeling the strength in the right leg. When we come out of this, from wherever we are, we're going to soften the right standing leg and slowly bring this left leg through. Bring it up to knee to hip height, flex the ankle. Let go of your mudra, take it higher from ground to sky, and then plant the left foot, bring the hands down and open back over those standing legs. Lifting, straightening the legs, reach Hinge. It's the right leg that's going to go back. Soften the right knee a little bit. It'll just give some ease. You don't have to by any means. And come into your lunge. Take the hands to the heart. Sorry, I'm looking at. That's the only problem is looking over, losing my balance. Okay, we're going to press through that heel, right? Arms are going to separate and come to shoulder height, opening to the sky. So both arms revolve in the joints themselves. And we're up here, squared off hips, which means sort of neutral, encouraging the right one to go forward. Yes, not too high, everybody, because you want to feel them supported by your ribs, not your neck, those arms. Bending the left leg, taking the arms up, again, tweaking this right hip forward and the left hip back. You'll feel it, the inside of the hip when you start playing around in that inner playground. In this part, I suggest the back leg strong, okay, and long. Hands coming down. Soften the knee. And again, like this is where you can stay, which is so fantastic. But it's also opportunity to balance, feeling the neck nice and still, the spine really supported, the legs strong. And we take it, slow it down, offering the balance, which is really hard. But so you may not balance quite as big as you normally do, which is part of the process. Bring that right leg through and up. Again, claiming the core through to the hands. And then that right foot comes down. The hands come together and fold over the standing legs. Let go of any tension. Lift again to the fingers. And this time we're going to step back to this high plank we did before. Fill it up. Lower the knees. Push back to the heels. Stretch back. It's the little pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. Now, forearms down. Fingers have a knot of space between them. Step back, forearm plank. If at any time or for the whole time you want to, the knees can come down as long as you keep your tummy engaged. It doesn't sag towards the floor. Feel the stretch in the back of the ankles. Feel the buoyancy. Okay. Come down to your knees. Flip your feet. Enjoy that. Let the ankles go. Thank you. Roll over to your right side and flex the ankles, or put one foot in front of the other, okay? Take your right arm, take the elbow beneath the right shoulder. We're looking this sort of shape. We've done it before. If your arm is too far, it's going to be too far distance to lift and too close to, so you find your own sweet spot. Left arm just drapes down first. Let's open it up to the sky and bring it up. There's no lifting of the hips right now, okay? And then instead of focusing on your wrist moving or your elbow or your shoulder, can we focus on a release in the rib cage? Up and start to bring this arm above and over. Drape it, feel whatever arabesque ballerina arm. Feel the tension in the right side of the body. Bring that arm back up, feel the closing of the left side of the body, and then lift off if that feels okay. How different now, both sides are of equal length is the sense. Strong, engaging, strong legs. Okay, hips come down, arm comes down, and just drift to the other side. Finding the mat, finding strong legs. Opening the right arm, bringing it up. And again, really focus on letting go of tension in the right side of the body as we arc this arm over. And then bring that arm up and lift, engage, do the opposite. Both sides working together. So feel we've opened the side body, Strengthen the back. Now come down. Plant, plant. Hands beneath the shoulders. You can have the forehead or the hairline down for a moment. And slowly lift up for cobra. Reset. The shoulders are really curling up and back. Feel the feedback in the lower back. You can take the hands from the mat, just increasing the intensity of the muscle, the work for the lower back here, the anchor through the hips and the pubic bone. And then plant the hands back down, push a little bit away, then tug your belly up, find downward dog. So I have to walk up my mat a little bit. Step back to the hands and go right into Utkatasana from there. This big leg, push the legs away, realign from hips to fingertips. Just feel it. And then up and down. We'll finish with, as it's leg class. It's not a balance class, but we're standing at the top. Take the right leg will move first. It's going to cross over. Think of that curtsy. We've done it before. The only thing is you need to find your sweet spot where there's no tweaking of your knees. So I know mine, but you find yours where this sort of shape. So the right shin is parallel to the floor. You're nice and tall. The right inner hip is singing. The heel of your right foot is as much above your toes as you can. You see, and then just a variation. It's one that I kind of like because it's simple and it reminds me it's not too complicated. There are complicated versions of this, but for me, it's like, again, it's like the tray. It's silly, but it keeps my upper chest and my upper back I feel like they're both on the journey together here. And then do your bob and weaves or whatever, or stillness, or just sit with the intensity of where can we find more depth if that's something that's appropriate, or maybe back away from the depth or what's happening. And remember, always be open to any pain or that's something to be addressed. That is a body knowledge. This is thick, but I'm not in pain. I may not be enjoying it that much. That's a whole other thing. Okay. Hands can come back to the hips. Just step up. Oof. And we'll go to the other side. And as per usual, we are not made the same way, thank goodness. So it's going to present differently on this side. Again, squaring the hips, stepping back into your curtsy, feeling nice and open along the waist on both sides. Here's a little trick. This is something that it's so hard sometimes when you've done something a lot. This is what tends to happen. You'll lose your focus on your right foot or the front foot, in this case, the right, and it starts to peel off and you start to do this kind of wacky thing. Stay nice and rooted through this front foot so that the inside, big toe side of the foot is right there with the pinky side toe. You feel the thickness of that foot reaching down. Get your knee alignment and then turn it over that right hip. Do your bob and weave. You can come in and out of it. You can stay static. Again, visit your neck because for me, I intend to do it. I end up like this. These are just the power. You'd be surprised how powerful this little shape. Well, it's a big shape, but the strength, space, it asks for a lot. You really feel it after. Okay, let's come hands to hips. Back to stand. Bring the legs together. We're going to just do a standing twist and Utkatasana. So we'll get our shape in the bottom half, our legs first, primary. Left hand on the knees. Now, I'm not going to go through all the variations, but if you know there's the one you want to hook, do any of that, go ahead. I'm not going to go through all of them right now. I'm just going to do left hand at the knees. It really keeps a sense of those knees staying even, which is part of this. The right hand at the sacrum. It's nice. We're sort of cradling ourselves. And take time to feel the breath moving through the trunk. And who cares where it goes? Just slowly feel the ability to open up towards the side, the right side. And visit the joints, the shoulders, the back, the hips, the balance of the feet, the flow of the chi. That's another one I think we'll be doing, if maybe Thursday, or is my spring, the spring tune-up and rinse. Come back. Well, guess what? You put twists in there. Let's stand up and out of it. It's just a nice way to find our even foundation again, and we'll go back in. Now the right hand drifts to the knees, the left one drifts to the lower back at the sacrum. The chest lifts towards the under chin without overdoing anywhere. And the exhalation moves the twist. You know, not only finding length on the inhalation, but I'd suggest finding your foundation each time. Just feel the pinky toe as it rests firmly on the ground, supporting us. It's wonderful. So rinses are great, which is twisting. Okay, come back to center. Come back to stand. Bring the hands down. Hand to chest, either one, that your choice. Bring the chin down, softening the back of the neck. Taking a moment here. Let go. And this, we're going to go to that wide-legged drop down. So you don't need a block. If you can't make it all the way down, let's just go where you can. Take the arms. See, I'm not going to go all the way. If you want to go down to this shape, go ahead. I'm going to stay a little higher. Spreading the toes. Andrew, we're not going to probably stay here long enough. I'm not using it as I might tomorrow in our class, but I'm not using it as that. We're not going low. We're using it as strength and openness, keeping the heat running up the legs. That's it. Just shifting the weight. You see, I'm just going back and forth on that plane. I'm not way down. I'm still strong. My bum is not below my knees. Really? Yeah. And then lift. Turn the toes in. The hands will come to the mat. We're going to step back to plank, lifting, lengthening, breathing, hinging, keeping that length through the bottom and the top side, just merely hinging at the hips. It's stepping through to the top of your mat. Someone like this. Sit tall. Open, soles of the feet. Think of how we open, but this is probably, you're going to probably find that your heels are slightly closer in. Hands to the ankles, the shins are around the toes. Use that bind when we use leverage in our practice. You see, when you don't have it, it's just a different way. Watch what we can do. This is my body wants to do this. So I'm going to start to refine the shape. Feel the hands on the legs, feel the strength and the grounding, and then offer the opening. Now our chest is open enough. We've warmed up. Sit here, drawing those frontal hip points towards the front of your space, getting taller with every cycle of breath. Feeling the release around the top of the legs. Let go a little bit of the tension so we can move. Let go of the left leg, send it out to the corner, out to the side, bring the right one in, and just turn it so the top of the foot is sort of looking down. You're not sort of turning it like this, where it's a bit funky for your knee. Bring it in. Strengthen the left leg so its toes are looking to the ceiling. I really should have, like, when I wear black, I should have a white mat, shouldn't I? The idea of a white mat. Yuck. Palm, you know it. If you want to grip and do that, I'm just going to leave my left arm here and my right one reaching up up and tall, tuck, and then go for your side. Feel. Remember when we were on our side? This one is a full opportunity. Oh, to release the tension along not only the side body, through the hip. And reach up. And down, and we'll finish that with keeping that left leg strong and flexed. Left hand drifts to the floor somewhere tented. Right arm, palm facing forward, parallel to the floor. Hinge over the floor with the heart. Reach forward, bring it around, keep it on that plane, and then find your ankle, your calf, or your foot. And then have a sense of softening the right side of your body down towards the ground and lifting the left side up as the breath moves through the shape. Let go softly and bring that back up, down, and we'll finish the other side, taking the right leg out, left leg in, palm up, left arm just floats away from the ground, connects with the hip, signals to bend, release. The idea is spiraling open, but okay, up. Keep the right leg as strong as you had it. Drift the right hand to the floor. Left arm comes up, palm faces front. As it goes forward, we hinge forward. Reach for the front of your space. Reach, 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 reach. So you get that delicious opening along the left side of the body and that left kidney and the adrenal, and then soften down. Find the spot that feels good. Adjust. Keep the breath full, though, so that you do feel the rinse moving out of the tummy and back up. Come back up. Help this right leg in. We're going to do reverse table. So both legs are on, the feet are on the floor, hands looking in. Lift and lengthen. Spread our chest open. Feel the ground. And when we come down, just try to drift your bottom towards your heels so we have more space here. Let's take your block. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Put it beside you. Slowly come down. Bring the feet in, sort of constructive left, lift the hips and lower. Just take a moment to get comfortable. Take both legs up. So you're like the letter L. Spread the toes. So you're doing that kind of Barbie foot. It's not flexed. And open these legs to the side. Not forward or back, straight out from where they were. My bookshelf. You can bring the hands in if you can reach and bring them up on the inside of the legs, but just don't compromise beautiful chest space though for that. Okay, bring them in, cross the right over the left, and just gently float over to the left hip. Don't worry if your spine and your trunk is not perpendicular. That doesn't matter here. Just enjoy. Let's bring the right arm up and see where the opening for the front of the right shoulder is most rich. So maybe that's movement, maybe that's stretching. I like a slight bend in my right of my upper arm there. I just keep the gaze neutral, but if your neck seems to like to go to the right on this side, try it. Okay, let's come out, find center, and we'll just drift to the other side. Right, left leg over right, bring them up and drift over, massaging the glutes as we go. Oh. Yeah, notice or sense the difference if the left arm is resting on the ground, it's wonderful, or if it's elevated and moving, more active, or a combination of both. Okay, let's come back up and over. Put the feet down. If you don't have your block, just stay here for a moment while we're getting on the block. If you have your block, now's the time to lift your hips. Put yourself on the lowest. But if you know that you're open and you want a little more hip flexor stuff, then you're going to go to the mid height, but it's a bit deep. Some of us. I'm just going to go to low height. Wait a moment here. It's even on my height, it's a very, very subtle but rich, gentle inversion. And then if you don't have a block, just start to create your Savasana shape. So, but it's not a starfish, right? I've been seeing a few starfishes. If you're on a block like I am, start to stake the legs out a hip distance apart. Slowly release the holding and the legs will naturally fall outwards. That's your good sign. Bring the hands to the inner hip points if they can reach comfortably or wherever. Make friends with your lower back if it's hurting. There's some things you can do. Move your block up or down. So make sure you're not holding tension in your glutes. Close your eyes. And just take this pause, the next few breaths to really allow the first and the second energy center chakra points to be primary. Like just stay down this area, nourishing it, listening to it, cradling it, loving it. And then if you're on the block like I am, slowly bring the legs back in. That'll already probably feel kind of quite nice. Lift, take the block and very slowly release the hips back down. And then you can take the feet wider and then knock the knees in for constructive rest and stay like that for your integrative final place or space, or take yourself into Savasana, just the legs doing the same thing they did when we were on the block. The arms are upward facing, palms incredibly soft, so the fingers naturally curve in. Feel softness under each and every toe. Feel the jaw soften back, the eyes sink, the muscles around the eyes and the nose and the mouth release away and sink in. Just taking this final little pause to foster that being okay with this stillness. just very gently become aware of how the inhalations, though they may be silent, effortless, they're ever present, and they begin to sort of catch the wave back up with them. Allowing ourselves to expand in the space around us, reconstituted. Just bring a slight lift to the corners of the mouth here. It feels so good. And if you want to stay here because you're in your own space, you could stay like this to close and enjoying the space, or you could come to constructive rest if that feels better. Or you can take some gentle movements to come up to sitting. Let's bring the palms together. And up, we can just lean into the third eye, the heart, flipped them for the belly brain. Thank you. Thanks for joining me.